Whether you believe it or not, there is a creator, a supernatural power behind every creation, and this divine power has already prepared keys that unlock abundance, wealth, and unstoppable favor. Tonight I am sharing with you one of those hidden keys. This is not just another ritual or random tradition. This is a spiritual action that moves heaven to respond. A faith-filled step that causes money to flow into your hands and makes enemies bow and fall at your feet. When you take this step seriously and do it faithfully, you will see sudden change, and doors you thought were locked forever will begin to open for you in unexpected ways. Imagine going to bed with a heavy heart, wondering how the next bill will be paid or how you will overcome the evil plans against your life. And then you discover that by putting one small prophetic item in your bed, by making one tiny but powerful shift, you can call down divine favor that makes even the rich and powerful look for you, ready to bless you. This is not fantasy. It is a spiritual law. What you activate by faith in the unseen, you will see in the natural. It is time to turn your bed from a place of worry into an altar of abundance. People think abundance comes only through endless work, sleepless nights, and connections with wealthy people. But let me tell you, when the Creator's hand rests upon your bed, your nights become weapons, your sleep becomes sacred, and your pillow becomes the gate of breakthrough. Putting this one simple thing under your bed changes your resting place into a battlefield of victory where curses scatter, poverty chains break, and blessings begin to chase you. The moment you align yourself with this action, heaven responds quickly and powerfully. Many people ignore the spiritual meaning of the bed, yet it is where dreams are formed, where visions are born, and where the enemy often comes at night to plant seeds of fear, delay, and destruction. If you only knew how many attacks were planned against you while you were asleep, you would not take this revelation lightly. But the good news is that when you place this prophetic token under your pillow, you create a shield of fire that burns away the works of darkness. You allow your spirit to receive messages of favor while refusing whispers of defeat. This action is not about magic or superstition. It is about faith and prophetic obedience. It is about turning your bed into a declaration. Money will overflow and enemies will fall. That simple line becomes your nightly covenant with heaven. Every time you lay your head down, you remind yourself and announce to the spiritual world that your destiny is not to suffer lack or be defeated by your enemies. Your destiny is overflow, and your testimony will shame every demonic plan formed against you. Some of you have been crying out for years, wondering why doors stay closed, why blessings keep slipping through your fingers, and why enemies seem to prosper while you struggle. But tonight, this will change. By using this one act, you will turn the tables in your favor. You will rise from being the one overlooked to being the one sought after. The wealthy will notice you. Opportunities will find you, and enemies will fall into their own traps. You are not cursed. You are chosen for overflow, and this simple act of faith will prove it. So listen closely. The next 7 nights are not ordinary. They are your 7 prophetic nights of transformation. They are your 7 nights of sealing your abundance and commanding your enemies to bow. Do not dismiss it as a coincidence that you are hearing this now. This is divine timing. The Creator has chosen this moment to place a key in your hands. And if you obey, your life will never stay the same again. The first thing you must understand is the meaning of the bed in the spiritual realm. To you, it may be just a place of rest, but in the unseen, your bed is a foundation where your soul meets mysteries of light and darkness. The enemy knows this, which is why most attacks are launched in dreams, because the bed is a gateway. When you purposely place something under your bed or pillow, you are speaking to the unseen world and declaring what kind of seed will grow there. By putting a prophetic token under your bed, you are planting a spiritual seed that will produce fruit in your waking life. This is why I say with confidence that when you place this small item in faith, it is not ordinary. Heaven recognizes it as a covenant. Now think about the power of writing. Words create, words destroy, words shape destiny. When you take a clean sheet of paper and boldly write the declaration, money will overflow and enemies will fall, you are not just writing letters, you are writing your reality, commanding your atmosphere, and joining heaven and earth to your declaration. The act of writing is agreement. And when you fold that paper toward yourself, you are drawing abundance closer to you. It becomes a magnet that pulls favor, opportunities, and resources into your life, while at the same time pushing away poverty, delay, and the plans of enemies. The coin, small as it may be, carries deep meaning. For generations, coins have represented wealth, value, and exchange. By placing even one coin inside the envelope with your declaration, you are laying down a token that attracts more of its kind. It is like sowing a seed. You never reap exactly what you sow. You always reap more. That coin, when joined with faith, says to the spiritual realm, I am ready for multiplication. I am ready for overflow. Do not despise the smallness of the act, because heaven delights in multiplying the small until it becomes very great. Then there is the cinnamon stick or bay leaf. These are not random kitchen items. They are spiritual fragrances recognized throughout history. Cinnamon carries the sense of sweetness, favor, and remembrance. Bay leaf has long been connected with victory and triumph. By adding them to your prophetic envelope, you are sending a signal to heaven and earth. My life will be remembered for favor. My steps will carry sweetness, and my destiny will hold the fragrance of victory. When these natural items meet your faith, they shift your spiritual atmosphere and open the door for money to overflow. And what about the oil? Even one drop of olive oil or anointing oil turns an ordinary act into a consecrated covenant. Oil has always stood for divine favor, breakthrough, and kingship. When you touch that paper or envelope with oil, you are not just sealing it, you are dedicating it to God's power. You are saying, this is holy, this is set apart, this is untouchable by evil hands. That drop of oil becomes a mark of heaven on your request. And once heaven marks it, no enemy can erase it. Many people wonder why things do not change for them even though they pray. The truth is that prayer without prophetic action often remains as words in the air. But when you join your prayer with a physical step, when you put your faith into action, you move heaven to act. This is the difference between asking and receiving. The envelope under your bed becomes a physical testimony that your faith is not empty. It is alive, it is visible, it is active. This is why testimonies will rise for those who take this seriously. Understand also that the enemy works most strongly at night. While you sleep, they plant confusion, delay, and failure into your dreams. But when you put this prophetic envelope under your pillow, you are declaring war on those night attacks, and your bed becomes surrounded by fire. Your spirit becomes protected, and your enemies lose their power to enter your dreams. Instead of nightmares, you will begin to dream of open doors, breakthroughs, and divine instructions that lead you to wealth. Every time you lie down, that envelope speaks on your behalf. It whispers into the spiritual realm. This child of God is marked for abundance. This household is covered. This destiny is untouchable. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but your enemies will see it. They will come near your life and suddenly stumble. They will plan against you and suddenly collapse. You will rise in the morning refreshed, knowing that your bed is no longer a place of attack, but a place of covenant. Let me also remind you that the act of putting something under your pillow is not a modern invention. For centuries, people of faith have placed symbols, scriptures, or tokens near their sleeping places to invite divine presence and drive away evil. What I am sharing with you now is an ancient principle made alive again for your situation. It is not superstition. It is a divine strategy to turn your nights into weapons of breakthrough. The difference is that you are doing it in faith, guided by revelation, with a clear purpose of commanding money to overflow and enemies to fall. So when you gather your paper, your coin, your cinnamon or bay leaf, and your drop of oil, do not see them as mere objects. See them as weapons. See them as declarations. See them as partners in your journey toward abundance. Place them together in the envelope and hold it close before you sleep. Whisper the words, "Money will overflow and enemies will fall," and then slip it under your bed. In that moment, heaven takes notice, and the spiritual realm bows to the authority of your faith. When you combine prayer with symbolic action, you activate a spiritual law that cannot be broken. Words are powerful, but when you connect those words to a physical object, you give them weight in the unseen world. That envelope under your pillow is not just a container of paper, coin, and cinnamon. It is a living altar, a point of contact between your faith and heaven's response. Every night you lie down, your declaration is not silent. It vibrates, it speaks, it cries out in the spiritual dimension, commanding favor to rush toward you and commanding enemies to stumble before they ever reach your door. Sealing your declaration is another act many ignore, yet it carries deep meaning. When you fold the paper inward and seal the envelope, you are shutting the door against poverty and opening the door to overflow. It is a spiritual lock that prevents the enemy from touching your words. Unsealed words can be stolen, twisted, or resisted, but sealed words become hidden treasures guarded by heaven itself. When you place that sealed envelope under your bed, you are saying, "What is written here is final. It cannot be reversed. It cannot be stopped." The coin inside that envelope is more than a symbol. It is a seed. Seeds are never meant to stay the same. Their destiny is to grow and multiply. Just as you never plant one seed and expect one seed back, you will never place that coin under your bed and receive only that coin back. You are declaring by faith that multiplication must find you. Financial doors will begin to open. Opportunities will locate you. Divine connections will chase after you, and unexpected provision will overflow into your hands. That coin is heaven's invitation for multiplication to begin in your life. Then there is the oil. Even one drop on that envelope changes everything. Oil sanctifies, it sets apart, it consecrates. You are not just doing a physical act, you are presenting your request before God. That oil speaks louder than your enemies. It says, "Touch not this destiny, touch not this life." While others may work endlessly and remain empty, your oil-marked declaration will stand out in the spiritual realm as one already approved for abundance. This is why I say with boldness, money will overflow and enemies will fall. Think also about the bed itself. Too many people underestimate its spiritual importance. The bed is a gate between the conscious and the subconscious, between the physical and the spiritual. Dreams are formed there. Visions are born there. Attacks are launched there. But when you place that prophetic envelope under your bed, you reclaim that gate for yourself. No longer will your sleep be stolen by fear, nightmares, or invisible battles. Instead, your nights will be filled with divine instruction, angelic visitations, and dreams that lead you into financial overflow. Placing the declaration under your bed is not about hiding it. It is about foundation. Foundations decide what rises above them. By placing your words of overflow beneath where you lay your head, you are saying, "My life is built on abundance, not lack. My foundation is favor, not failure. My roots are prosperity, not poverty." Every time you lie down, your body rests above the covenant of overflow, and your spirit lines up with that foundation. You may not see it, but in the unseen world, your destiny is being rebuilt on the foundation of abundance. Repetition for 7 nights is not accidental. It is prophetic. The number 7 is completion, perfection, and divine fullness. When you repeat this act for 7 straight nights, you are completing a cycle of breakthrough. You are stamping your covenant until it is fully sealed in the spiritual realm. By the 7th night, what you once declared in faith becomes your reality. Enemies who mocked you will fall. Financial blockages will break, and money will begin to overflow into your life in ways you cannot explain, but will surely testify about. Your enemies will not be able to stand against the weight of your declarations. Each night they will try to rise, but each night your envelope will speak louder than their curses. By the 7th night they will collapse under the power of your words and the authority of your faith. This is why it is important to stay consistent and not break the cycle. Faith is not only about believing, it is about persistence. Those who complete the 7 nights will see results that shake the very foundation of their lives. Understand this truth. The bed is not just where you rest. It is where battles are won or lost. Every time you sleep without protection, you risk becoming a target of spiritual attacks. But when you obey this instruction and put your declaration under your bed, you turn your resting place into a battleground where victory is sure. You may sleep in peace, but in the unseen your declaration fights for you. Your coin multiplies for you. Your oil shields you, and your cinnamon or bay leaf speaks favor over your destiny. This is why many who follow this simple but powerful step will begin to testify of sudden favor. Money will appear in strange places. Debts will be canceled unexpectedly, and helpers will appear out of nowhere. At the same time, enemies will begin to stumble without explanation. Plans designed to trap you will fall apart. Those who wanted to shame you will be put to shame. All because you obeyed the prophetic act of faith, placed your declaration under your bed, and trusted the Creator to respond. 7 nights may seem simple, but in the spiritual world, it represents a cycle of completion. When you commit to this prophetic act for 7 nights, you are not just repeating words, you are sealing a covenant. Each night is another layer added to the foundation of your breakthrough. The first night declares your intent. The second confirms your faith. The third strengthens your shield. The fourth makes your foundation firm. The fifth multiplies your seed. The sixth speeds up your results. And the seventh seals your overflow permanently. By the time you wake up on the 8th morning, your atmosphere will not be the same. It will have shifted. It will be charged. It will be aligned for wealth and victory. Think of the many battles you have fought, the endless prayers you have prayed, and the nights you have cried yourself to sleep. This prophetic act of 7 nights is not meant to add more burden, but to release you from burden. It is a declaration that your nights will no longer be wasted in fear or struggle, but invested in overflow and triumph. Each time you slip the envelope under your pillow, you are telling the universe, my story is changing, my life is aligning, my enemies are falling, and heaven will respond, because faith without action is incomplete, but faith with action moves mountains. Your money doors will not stay shut forever. They may have been locked by ancestral curses, jealous enemies, or careless words you once spoke over yourself. But when you write your declaration, place your coin, add your cinnamon or bay leaf, anoint it with oil, and seal it under your bed for 7 nights, you are breaking those locks. You are declaring that every door of poverty is permanently closed, and every door of prosperity is permanently opened. Money will begin to flow where it once dried up. Abundance will overtake the places where lack has ruled for too long. Enemies thrive when your faith is passive, but they fall when your faith is active. By taking part in this act for 7 nights, you are announcing war against every force that has risen against your prosperity. Each night as you sleep peacefully, your enemies will toss restlessly. Each night as you declare, money will overflow and enemies will fall, their plans will be overturned. The very pits they dug for you will swallow them. The very traps they set for you will catch them. They will fall not because you fought them physically, but because your spiritual foundation was strengthened under your bed. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of these 7 nights. As you continue faithfully, you will notice small changes. At first, unexpected calls, small financial blessings, sudden moments of favor. Then the blessings will grow stronger. Where there was delay, you will see speed. Where there was rejection, you will see acceptance. Where there was emptiness, you will see overflow. All of this begins with your persistence in following through with the act, believing that 7 nights is not a ritual of superstition, but a covenant of faith. Even as you repeat this act, let your heart stay expectant. Expectation is the womb of manifestation. If you place the envelope and say the words without expectation, you reduce it to a routine. But if you place it with the fire of belief burning inside you, it becomes unstoppable. Each night as you lie on your bed, picture the overflow. See your bank accounts filled. Imagine debts being cleared. See doors of opportunity opening, and watch enemies scattering in confusion. Your imagination feeds your faith, and your faith fuels your breakthrough. One of the greatest testimonies of this act is how enemies lose their footing. They may come near you boldly, but suddenly their words lose power. They may plan against you, but suddenly their steps fail. They may laugh at your struggle, but soon they will be silenced by your breakthrough. This is why the declaration includes both abundance and protection. Money will overflow and enemies will fall, because prosperity without protection is incomplete, and protection without provision still leaves you in lack. This act joins both together, making sure you rise with wealth and with victory. I have seen people who were on the edge of giving up experience sudden turnaround after following this principle. Some reported financial help coming from unexpected places. Others testified of new job opportunities opening overnight. And some saw their longtime enemies embarrassed in public. The common thread was faith shown through action. It was not the paper, the coin, the cinnamon, or the oil that made the difference. It was their faith in God joined with prophetic obedience that changed their lives forever. So if you feel skeptical, remind yourself that the greatest breakthroughs often come through the simplest acts of obedience. It may look too easy, but heaven delights in using small things to shame the wisdom of the proud. The coin may be small, the paper may seem ordinary, but the covenant they carry when placed under your bed for 7 nights is extraordinary. Do not despise it. Do not delay it. Begin tonight and watch how quickly your testimony will rise. The truth is this: the Creator never meant for you to live in lack or under the oppression of enemies. Your inheritance is abundance. Your portion is overflow, and your destiny is victory. By committing yourself to these 7 nights of prophetic action, you are simply aligning with what has already been written about you. You are saying yes to your divine inheritance and no to the lies of poverty and defeat. And as you say yes, heaven will pour out blessings that will make you unrecognizable even to your closest enemies. Now that you understand the depth of what happens when you place this prophetic envelope under your bed, it is time to pause and reflect. This act is not just about gaining money or defeating enemies. It is about waking up your spirit to the reality that you are not ordinary. You carry a divine calling. and your life is meant to overflow with goodness. When you take this prophetic step, you are not only seeking material blessing, but also reminding your soul that you were created for more than struggle, for more than defeat. You were created to reflect the abundance of heaven on earth. Ask yourself, are you truly ready for overflow? Many desire financial blessing, but their hearts are still full of fear, doubt, and unbelief. Some want enemies to fall, yet they secretly hold bitterness and unforgiveness. Before you place that envelope under your bed, take a moment to cleanse your heart. Speak forgiveness over those who wronged you. Release bitterness and prepare your spirit to receive. Abundance flows where the heart is light, but it resists hearts that are heavy with resentment. This is why reflection is so important. The 7 nights of prophetic action are not just a routine. They are a journey of spiritual awakening. Each night is an opportunity to surrender fear and pick up faith. Each declaration you speak over that envelope is an invitation for your spirit to rise higher, for your mind to align with the reality of overflow, and for your heart to embrace the truth that enemies cannot win against you. This is not just a financial transformation, it is a spiritual rebirth. Consider how your perspective will change when you stop seeing your bed as a place of defeat and start seeing it as an altar of victory. No longer will you lie down burdened with anxiety, worrying about bills, debts, or the plans of enemies. Instead, you will close your eyes in peace, knowing that heaven is working on your behalf. That envelope will not just hold your declaration, it will hold your confidence, your faith, and your destiny. You will sleep differently, dream differently, and wake up differently, because your spirit will know that you are covered. Many of you listening now may have tried countless methods to overcome financial hardship or enemy attacks. Some of you have prayed until you were tired, fasted until your strength was gone, or looked for help from people who only turned you away. But what if this was the missing key? What if this simple prophetic action is the bridge between your prayers and your answers? Do not dismiss it because of its simplicity. Remember that faith is often activated through the smallest steps. What seems small in your hands becomes mighty in God's hands. Reflection also requires honesty. Be honest with yourself about where you have failed, where you have doubted, and where you have given the enemy room to work. Then make a clear decision that these 7 nights will be different. Tell yourself, I will not enter these 7 nights with doubt. I will not enter with fear. I will enter with faith, and I will rise with testimony. Honesty is what allows your spirit to open fully, making room for blessings to flood in and for enemies to crumble under the weight of your breakthrough. Finally, understand that what you are about to experience is not just for you. It is for your family, your household, and even the generations after you. When you establish a covenant of overflow, you are breaking curses not only for yourself, but also for those who will come after you. When you declare that enemies will fall, you are securing peace not only for today, but also for tomorrow. Your obedience in this moment becomes a generational blessing, and that is why you must approach it with seriousness, reflection, and unwavering faith. Now that your spirit is awake and your heart is prepared, it is time for the activation. This is not just theory anymore. This is the moment you put everything into motion. Before you place that envelope under your pillow each night, hold it in your hands. Close your eyes and focus your mind on what you desire. Overflow, abundance, and the fall of every enemy. Let your heart burn with faith, and let your words come out with boldness. Faith is released through words, and words create reality. Do not whisper in fear. Declare in authority. Say these words aloud with conviction. Money will overflow, and enemies will fall. Doors of provision will open, and curses will scatter. I am chosen for abundance, and I will never lack again. Repeat this declaration 3 times each night before slipping the envelope under your bed. The repetition is not empty. With each repetition, you carve your words deeper into the spiritual atmosphere. With each repetition, your declaration pushes through opposition and establishes your victory. As you lie down, picture light filling your entire room. See angels standing around your bed, guarding you against every arrow of the enemy. Picture streams of money flowing into your life from directions you never imagined. Envision your enemy stumbling, confused, defeated, unable to touch what God has sealed. This visualization is not fantasy, it is faith in motion. When your mind agrees with your words, your spirit produces a force that cannot be resisted. You are not just sleeping, you are activating wealth and protection as you rest. Then pray this simple but powerful warfare prayer. Father, as I rest tonight, let this envelope speak louder than the voices of my enemies. Let it declare my overflow. Let it destroy their plans, and let it shield me from every attack. I decree and declare that before the 7 nights are over, I will see testimonies of provision and the fall of every enemy. So let it be in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. This prayer is short, but it carries the weight of authority. And when joined with your declaration, it becomes unstoppable. Do not underestimate the power of one line spoken in faith. Money will overflow and enemies will fall. This single declaration, repeated faithfully for 7 nights, will echo in the spiritual realm louder than 1,000 curses. Enemies may try to rise, but your words will strike them down. Poverty may try to cling, but your words will drive it out. Doors may try to stay closed, but your words will break them wide open. Each time you declare it, you are hammering your destiny into alignment with heaven's plan. By the 7th night, expect to feel a shift. Expect strange dreams that reveal hidden truths. Expect calls that bring unexpected opportunities. Expect enemies to expose themselves without you lifting a finger. This is the power of prophetic action. You will not fight with weapons of the flesh. You will fight with words, faith, and obedience, and you will win. Because when God is for you, no enemy can stand against you. Your bed will become your battlefield, and your victory will echo for all to see. Now that you have the full instruction, do not delay. Tonight is the night to begin. Gather your paper, your coin, your cinnamon or bay leaf, your drop of oil, and prepare your envelope. Write your declaration boldly. Fold it toward yourself. Seal it and activate it with prayer. Place it under your bed and rest knowing that heaven has already heard you. The moment you act in faith, the flow of abundance is released and the downfall of your enemies begins. Do not wait for another season. This is your season, and your testimony is waiting. I urge you, do not take this lightly. Every act of obedience in faith draws the attention of heaven. Every word you declare shapes your destiny. Every night you commit yourself to this prophetic act, you are building a fortress around your life. The blessings you have been chasing will begin to chase you. The enemies that seemed undefeatable will begin to crumble without you lifting a finger. This is the power that lies in your hands now, and all it requires is that you step forward in boldness. And tonight as you begin, declare with me, money will overflow and enemies will fall. Type it boldly in the comments, write it in your journal, speak it over your bed, and claim it over your life. Your agreement is not only with me, but with thousands of others watching this right now. As you declare it, you are joining your faith with a family of believers, and there is power in unity. When we stand together and agree, breakthroughs begin.